independent in thought and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
And now there is none. Trump is saying that that's it. These planes are temporarily grounded. So there is nobody flying these airplanes in the modern world. I don't know about anywhere else because I know there's a few other planes and countries that have them, but I don't think so. So Canada and now us were the last two of the dominoes to fall. So that their plane kids, the 737, is it MAX 8 or 8 MAX or MAX 9, 9 MAX, they're now grounded. Somebody texted, Chad, you said all of the fleet for Southwest yesterday you were incorrect. No, you're right. They have 737s. It's the 8 MAX that this model is, and they've got another 280 on order, which I don't know if they'll be picking up that order anytime soon. In fact, there's 5,000 orders for this, of which only about 750 have been delivered. And I don't know if people are going to be asking for their deposit back, but I would assume that that is a possibility. You're no longer able to move around this country freely on this airplane. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet it. In fact, here it is, 5,111 total orders. Only 350 have been delivered so far. Plane went in service in 2017. So we'll see what happens. If you want to know what the stock is doing right now, it's falling. It's falling. It's down about $7 today. And continuing to struggle. Oh, my Lord. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter.
The divide between the haves and have-nots has never been exposed, like we just saw. A systematic fraud worthy of a RICO bust that affects every level of admissions. Millions in fake donations by the well-to-do. And not just to the university. We've never seen anything this sophisticated. And my concern is that we've only scratched the surface. 50 people were charged, 33 parents, 9 college coaches. Prosecutors call it a $25 million criminal enterprise.
The largest college admissions scam ever prosecuted by the Department of Justice.
And that is Chris Cuomo. And let me tell you something. He in his life has had to scratch. He's had to fight. He's had to claw his way up from the privilege of being a Cuomo. Oh, yeah, I never even thought about that. Look, he's right. The haves and have-nots, it's always been and it always will be, right? The have-nots didn't build these colleges. The haves did. Let's be honest about this. But this has nothing to do. Everybody's looking in the wrong place. Oh, it's privilege. This, that, and a lot of people I saw just hammer these kids. Leave the kids alone, right? A lot of these kids had no idea what was going on. Some of them did, that mom and dad pulled some strings. But the reality is, mom and dad were more concerned about their kids getting into college and which college they went to and what that piece of paper on the wall was going to be about than whether or not they were going to go to school and not be YouTube stars like some of them want to be. Influencers, right? That's what this is about. We live in a day and age where it's about how you look. Oh, where's your kid going to school? Harvard. Where's your kid going to school? Cal State Long Beach. Oh, well, I get, you know what? It's about the look of perfection. How do you look? Where's your kid going to school? Let's all sit around and talk about where the kids are going to school. What preschool did they get in? What junior high? What high school? Are they going to a cool high school? Are they on the honors society? Are they doing the right thing? Did you see what they posted today? My kid's doing this, that, and the other. Because it's about me. How do I look? Living my kid's life for them so they can go out and represent me. It's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. I feel bad for these kids. Some of these kids had no idea mom and dad pulled these kind of strings. Some of them did, but a lot of them didn't. We're hearing about the famous one. They caught Lori Loughlin, street name Aunt Becky. She spent $500 $100,000 for a kid to go to school. This is her kid, Olivia, talking about that experience.
Mostly my parents really wanted me to go because both of them didn't go to college, and then...
They did all right, though.
Yeah, I think they did fine.
They did just fine.
Yeah. Hypocrites. No, but I'm so happy they made me go. That sounds so terrible. They didn't make me. My sister goes to the same school, and we're pretty much inseparable, so it was nice, following in her footsteps a little bit, but I do like it.
Yeah. Look, we live in a world where it's Instagram famous. It's here's my life, but not my real life. The life that I'm going to show you, not the underbelly, not the turning over the rock to look at all of the other stuff. Here is what my life is. It's perfection. And I can't have perfection ruined by my kid going to a local junior college. How would that look on me? Oh, how would that look? I don't know. Look, all of us, right? I don't care who you are. You're going to give your kid every advantage you possibly can give them. Some are going to do it like me, within reason, right? If my son loves a sport and I can put him in a situation where he gets extra training because he's so passionate about it, I don't push my son to do anything. I'm not pushing Jack to do anything. I want him to work hard, right? He goes to church, he plays a sport, he goes to school, and he shows maximum effort. I don't need perfect results. Right? And if my son says, hey, Dad, I love football. I really, really do. And I love hockey. I don't want to play. I've discouraged him from hockey. The expense is ridiculous. But, and he gets to the point where, because I told him, you want to play tackle football, you're going to be a kicker, you're going to be a punter. And I have a chance to get him with the best kicker or punter coach around. I'm going to do that. If he shows true passion, I'm not pushing him to do anything. We are seeing, it's not just these kids, by the way. I've got friends who are just everyday average Americans who live their life in a normal way. They don't have a ton of money. They do okay for themselves, but they've done the same thing. It's the way that they're pushing their parents their kids is insane. I blame the parents, right? It's everybody gets a trophy, but along the way of getting every kid the trophy and telling them how special you are, you've got to keep up that facade. You can't break that chain of perfection. You just can't do it. I blame the parents, 110%. I blame the parents, right? I do. Because I've seen a lot of people, and I feel like Olivia, the one you heard talking, she was she was on her way to being a big, she talked about she wanted to be on YouTube 24/7 rather than go to class. All of these things that she talked about that she wanted to do, that she was doing. And now people are destroying her for it. Not the school side of stuff. Just because, mommy and daddy. Well, if you didn't know mommy and daddy were doing that, you've got some advantages, but now you're getting hammered for it. I feel bad. And some of these kids are sitting around going, you know what? I thought I was doing everything okay. Essentially, you're embarrassed of me because I couldn't get into the school that you wanted me to go to. It used to be coming out to your parents if you were gay was tough. Now coming out to your parents and saying, I want to have a gap year is the most embarrassing thing. Oh, no, you don't. I can't tell anybody that. That is not going to happen. Mom and Dad, I've decided I'm going to be a nurse instead of a doc. Oh, no, you're not. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a lawyer. These are the things we want for you, but mostly for us, no matter how miserable it makes you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Guess what, kids? Sentencing for the bad guy.
Between his sentence in Washington, D.C. and one handed down earlier in Virginia, Paul Manafort is due to spend nearly 7 years in prison for crimes uncovered by special counsel Robert Mueller. The judge scolded the defense for suggesting Manafort was a side effect of Mueller's Russia investigation. His insistence that none of this should be happening to him, the judge said, is just one more thing inconsistent with genuine acceptance of responsibility.
Yeah, so he's been sentenced. He'll do 7 years in prison, give or take, but he's already been indicted in New York by the district attorney there. So if he's going to get, and it's a big if, but if he's going to get a pardon, producer Phil and I were talking about it, you've got to let every single case against him go all the way through. Then is when you can go, okay, I'm going to pardon you. Because if you pardon him too early and they come after him late, you don't want to do that. So I think for all intents and purposes, I think a pardon will come. And I think it comes in if Trump's asked out in this next election and he loses it, I think he's going to swing open the jail cells, right? But I think a pardon will come after all is said and done for Manafort. I do. He didn't really get it, you know. I think if he would have been even more contrite, he might have even got less of a sentence. But I think he's still a bit tone deaf. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Hey, guys, we're terrible at taking care of ourselves. 70% of men out there don't get treated or even talk to anybody about erectile dysfunction, right? Like, we hurt ourselves, we'll walk it off, right? You cut yourself, don't worry about it, put some duct tape on it, we're ready to go. But with ED, well, no, we just ignore it at all. And a lot of that has to do with pride and embarrassment. Roman has created an easy way to get checked out by a doctor, get treated for ED online. One-stop shop, licensed U.S. physicians. They can diagnose ED and ship medication right to your door. No waiting in rooms, no awkward face-to-face conversations. All you got to do is go getroman.com/Benson. So you go there. It is a free online visit. You fill out a onboarding medical, chat with a doctor, get FDA-approved ED meds delivered to your door in unmarked packaging. It's that simple. Get it today. Go there right now. It's free online visit. It's on me. GetRoman.com/Benson. That's GetRoman.com/Benson. Free online visit. GetRoman.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show, where we make no apologies, although we do say a few Hail Marys and Our Fathers now and then. Amen.
Boeing is an incredible company. They are working very, very hard right now, and hopefully they'll very quickly come up with the answer, but until they do, the planes are grounded.
It's tough because it's a big company, and this is huge for investors, for the people who work for the company. You got to figure out what's going on. That is obvious. And when you think about it, there's only about 70 of them that are operated here, 60 or 70 right now. But there's 5,000 that are currently on order. So you're talking about something that's massive that could have a huge ramifications, and safety is paramount. Absolutely the most important thing. We got to make sure that it's safe. But is it the pilots? Are they being trained wrong? Is it the software? I had a pilot text me yesterday and said, I've flown a few of these. There's some stuff in there I'm not thrilled about, but it's a new plane. Get used to it. Am I scared to fly it? No. And I've had people who've worked on the software and say, we've worked on portions of the software and we've got issues. I don't know what it is. And, but if you're the president, you're the FAA, you're doing this. And he spoke yesterday to the CEO of Boeing. And if you want to get a stock cheap, next few days, it may be Boeing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us each and every day at this time. We try to deliver to you a little fun, a little humor, a little thing that we simply call our urban word of the day.
It's time for the urban word of the day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban word of the day.
Ooh, I like this one. People out there, you guys are all having problems today with Facebook. It was a worldwide outage at times. They had to go to Twitter to say that, look, none of our apps are working. We're having problems with it. And why? Because people want to take selfies because they're autosexual. What is that? Those are people who are essentially turned on by only one person or are excited by one person, and that person is themselves. I am not that, by the way. I'm not disgusted by me, but I think I could do better with me. Autosexual is your urban word of the day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the urban word of the day. We damn stretched your cranium.
Doctors at Duke University Eye Center say a relatively new, non-invasive machine can show if the blood vessels in your retina are thinning, and that could be a signal that the blood vessels in your brain are thinning too.
Optical coherence tomography angiography, or OCT.
That's video showing how the machine works. Basically, it takes a high-res image of very small blood vessels in your retina, and because the retina is an extension of the brain, what happens in your eyes can also be happening in your brain. The process, much less costly and safer than an MRI, also could be more accurate.
Yeah. Now what happens? So let's say we diagnose you with Alzheimer's. It's that part that really needs to be talked about is where do we go from here? And for a lot of these diseases, by the time we diagnose it, we're just throwing, we're throwing darts against the wall. And the earlier we can detect them is great, but it's the treatment along the way that is going to be the most important. But it's going to be very interesting to see if this is a way to do this, because little things like this, right, like CTE, that little thing out there, you can't diagnose that till you're dead. You have to be dead. That's not a helper. So how do you treat somebody that you don't know you can really treat because they're not quite dead? It's little things like this, and you realize how complex the brain is, that we know more probably about the stars than we do the brain, and we know more about the ocean than the brain. That's insane. So this will be interesting to see how this plays itself out and what kind of impact it can have in the future of getting to something earlier and trying different treatments that maybe will work. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Gavin Newsom said, I know the will of the people have spoken, but not on my watch. We'll talk about what he's done. Yet again, somebody else saying, I know what the voters and the people are saying, but I feel I'm a bit above this. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Families of murder victims are angry, saying Governor Newsom is playing judge and jury. But Newsom argues a death penalty is unfair, unequally applied, and too expensive. He says California should not be on par with North Korea and Saudi Arabia executing citizens. As part of the executive action, San Quentin Prison's death chamber will be closed.
So, not the first time Gavin Newsom's done something like this. He did this with marriage equality or gay marriage. When he was mayor, the state of California had voted on it. What did he do? I'm sorry. I'm going against the will of the people. People in California have voted on this on more than a few occasions. And guess what? They voted, we want the death penalty for certain people, for certain crimes. Absolutely something we agree with. California doesn't put anybody to death. I don't believe it's a deterrent. I think it's expensive and ridiculous. It's been 13 years since the death chamber has been used. But the will of the people. You talk about Trump, Gavin. You're your own little mini dictator if you're going to go out there and say, hey, I'm talking about Trump. He's doing all these things that are completely unconstitutional. You're going against what the will of the people was. Why vote? I remember the first time that the marriage prop came up in California, and it was defeated, right? And, people said, no, marriage between a man and a woman. And everybody got people on the side of marriage equality got angry, and there was some stuff, and then you had Gavin Newsom, and then it went back out there again, and it got defeated worse because people were like, well, that was kind of a sore loser situation. And why do this, right? Why even put these things on the ballot if you're just going to go, nah? That's the frustration people have. It's a frustration I've talked to a lot of people, and that's why I keep saying that Constitution, right, that guarantees, you look at the Constitution and say, okay, this is great, but this is why having judges is so important, because the co-equal branches anymore, I tilt to one branch has the defining word. Well, the other branches can fight it out. That one branch is just a little bit ahead of everybody else. Just a smidge. Smidge. So even when you vote on stuff, just know if somebody doesn't like it, they're going to file a lawsuit, and that's one of those things. I can agree with them by a lot of this stuff, right? I can. It's expensive. It's stupid. California doesn't put anybody to death. Texas is the only one that really, Florida, Georgia, they kind of get into it, right? I think South Carolina. California hasn't executed somebody for 13 years. But I understand the frustration when I look and I say, well, you are doing what you say that Trump is doing, and you're deciding you're going to do it, and the voters have voted on it a couple times, and here we go again. And I can agree with the expense, doesn't stop anybody, blah, 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 blah. For me, I look at it, it's I think it's $90,000 to keep an inmate on death row. 75 to 90,000, depending on where they are. And the average prisoner is about $33,000, and you're not going to execute anybody. And that doesn't count the legal legal cost and all of this stuff. And no, it doesn't count any of that. But he felt like, hey, I'm doing this.
3 out of 4 nations in the world know better and are doing better. They've abolished the death penalty. It's time California join those ranks.
But what do you say to the people? That's just it. What do you say to the people? You can talk about this all you want, not just the victims, right? But they're vitally important because they're not being heard in this.
I did this with a heavy heart, with deep appreciation for the emotions
and the veneers
that drives this issue. And I did it with the victims in mind.
Hey, wait a minute here. So, somebody kills my loved one. I want to see them pay the ultimate price. And you're going against the will of the people, and you're doing it with me in mind. There you go. There's some hypocrisy right there. And I agree with him that it's time for us to get rid of it. I think it's expensive. I think nationwide is expensive. We don't use it. It's not a deterrent. The way he's doing it is where you have a problem. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Remember that whole emergency declaration? I'm sitting back thinking, what is going on here with this? And you see the fight between Ann Coulter and Trump, and she wants the geolocation of where the wall's being built. But the reality is we're having more and more people come here. I don't think it's an emergency, but I do think it's an issue. And I think the more that we sit around and talk about who spilt the milk, and the less time we actually figure out how we clean it up, the worse it potentially could get.
Democrats remain very unified on open borders and crime. And the Republicans, in essence, they are more splintered on this vote. But it's clear in what we've seen with legal scholars that what the president's doing, it's under his authority and it's constitutional.
Well, we'll find out. That therein lies the magic again of it's constitutional. Legal scholars, we know where it's going. It's going straight to the courts, and then we'll see what happens from there. What kind of split? Trump may be handed a surprise. Trump absolutely may be handed a surprise. I don't know. But we're still, as usual, we've got one side of the aisle that's hemming and hawing and half-assing it behind the president, knowing because they're also benefiting from open borders and cheap labor, and so are their donors are making sure that their pockets are big and fat and full of stuff like that. And you got the other side over there who's hoping one day for a voter registration that is so massive and so left-leaning and and they're also benefiting from some cheap labor from some of their donors as well, because they'll take that kind of green. All the while, we're looking at her going, are you guys getting, okay, it's not an emergency, but it is an issue. And the catch and release. I don't know if you saw the Border Patrol sent a letter to the president yesterday. All 7,400 members of the union said, hey, you haven't done anything with catch and release. You haven't done a damn thing. That, to me, take away the wall, right? If you're going to, if you're not going to go after employers and choke off that route of people coming here, right? If you're not going to do that, then take away catch and release. Do something. Because even with the wall, once they're over, it's catch and release time. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from each and every single one of you. I'm a comedy guy, right? I like comedy. And Johnny Carson, to me, when late night, and I think most of you, it has nothing to, actually, of all the late night hosts now, the one I find to be the funniest, I like Jimmy Fallon. I think Fallon is good. I look around and none of them really grab me that much. I mean, some of the stuff that Kimmel does, but the difference between Kimmel and Colbert and a lot of these other people, it's just become about politics. And Johnny Carson, the thing about him is the way he played to everybody, right? Knowing who he is, what his show was about, the way that he played to the entire nation, not just Manhattan on both coasts, right? Manhattan Beach, Manhattan, New York, not to the elitist, as they like to see themselves in the blue states, that, hey, everybody in the red state wants to be us kind of thing, as Bill Maher said. Not just to them. He played to everybody. And one of the things was he kind of gave it to everybody, but he stayed in a lane where he's like, look, I'm here to get the biggest audience. I'm not here for other things. I'm here to entertain, not lecture.
I think one of the dangers, if you are a comedian, which basically I am, if you start to take yourself too seriously and start to comment on social issues, your sense of humor suffers somewhere. I've seen other people, whose names I won't mention, who do humor, and then somewhere along the line they start to want to make their views known.
Yeah. And when you look at some of these shows, you know exactly what they're about. I mean, my God, the Colbert, who's found his niche, that's great. This is who I am. Dave Letterman, for a while, he was just Dave. And then he really, the last few years, is like, I'm going to take this time to do, this is who I am. And it just became, people were like, put off by it because it felt like, okay, you're playing to a small audience and this is what you're doing, which is fine. It's your show, right? That's your thing. But to me, it's like, okay, are you going to be an entertainer? And that's why when people on the left get all pissed off and it's like, I just want to watch you come and do your thing. I don't want to hear a lecture, right? Just like if you're on the left and you like an entertainer that happens to be the right leaning, do you really want to have them lecture you about whatever it is? Probably not. Like, you're here because we want you to entertain us. And that's the way I've always thought it to be. I have no problems if you want to do it the other way, right? You want to do your thing. But I think Johnny had it right for what he was trying to do, because even now our entertainment is becoming tribal.
We've had some criticism on the show. Some critics over the years says, well, the show has no great sociological value. It's not controversial. It's not deep. The Tonight Show basically is to amuse people, to make them laugh.
Tell me the last time that Jack Benny, Red Skelton, Benny comedian, used his show to do serious issues. That's not what I'm there for. Can't they see that? Why do they think that just because you have a Tonight Show that you must deal in serious issues? That's a danger.
Yeah, because he knew exactly what... Hey, somebody's going to watch me in Omaha, Nebraska. Somebody's watching me in Cedar Rapids. Somebody's watching me in Boise. Do I decide I'm only going to play to people in New York and Los Angeles? Nah, I'm going to play to everybody because I want to entertain. I'm not here to influence. Jay Leno is out and about talking about the difference between yesteryear and today.
everything now is, if people don't like your politics, everyone has to know your politics. When I kind of use Johnny's model, people couldn't figure out, well, you and your Republican friends, well, Mr. Lennon, you and your Democratic buddies, I would get hate mail from both sides equally. And I went, well, that's fabulous. That's exactly what I want. Yes. But when people see you as one-sided, it just makes it tough.
Yeah, because even though I may like you, if you're going to sit there and insult all the time some of the stuff I believe in, why would I want to hang out with you? And that goes for just the average human being, right? If you have a coworker that all they do is put down the things that you believe in or like, do you want to hang out with that coworker all the time? Probably not. After a while, you probably have a friend that is like, this person gets on my nerves and I just don't want to be around them anymore. They're always belittling me, always putting me down. And that's what I feel. Like, the Colbert Show is unwatchable for me. And I don't watch any of these shows. I don't watch Hannity or Tucker or any of these people. I don't watch any of them. But it's like, I could be sitting here watching a football game and Colbert, like a promo will come on for Colbert. And it's like, tonight he's got Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and the Trumps and Idiot Dancers. And you're like, oh, well, this sounds like the DNC has their own talk show. So, and I know that I'm going to get 10-minute monologue of how stupid everybody is who likes Trump and how enlightened they are. And it's just, it's off-putting. And I wouldn't want it the other way either. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Hey, my pillow is incredible. And my Go Anywhere pillow, I slept like a log last night. Oh, yeah. I always funny that they say that. Because how do you really know how a log sleeps? Right? Well, it doesn't do anything. I guess it does sleep. I'm just saying it's a little interesting, right? But I did. I slept amazing last night, and that's my Go Anywhere pillow. Imagine what it's like when I have my premium pillow, which is I'll be on my premium pillow tonight because I'll be home after all my travels over the last several weeks. 100% machine washable and dryable. Made right here in the U.S. of A. And right now they got a money-back guarantee going on, so you got nothing to lose. 4 pillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, 2 premium pillows, half price, free shipping. What are you waiting for? Nothing to lose. 800-944-4975. 800-944-4975. Or go to mypillow.com. When you do, remember to use the promo code Benson. 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, half the price, free shipping. 800-944-4975. Or visit mypillow.com. Promo code Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
Any plane currently in the air will go to its destination and thereafter be grounded until further notice.
Yeah, Trump grounding along with the FAA decided, hey, we're going to bring these 8 MAX or MAX 8, MAX 9, and 737 Boeing planes, and we're going to figure out exactly what's going on, and we'll go from there. We were the last. Canada decided early this morning, that's it. You can't even fly over our airspace with these. And then Trump, who yesterday talked about, I don't want Einstein flying my plane. These things are too complicated and ridiculous. And then he had a phone call later on with Boeing. And next thing you know, he decided today, hey, you know what? Maybe it's just best we take a step back and look at it. It depends on who you talk to. Situation. Other people saying this is ridiculous. This is now. But we'll find out, right? We'll find out. We don't know anything other than, what they're saying is the indication is that the Lion Air, the first one that happened, and they crashed into the Java Sea last year. And this one, a lot of the data that are so far getting says that it's very similar. But was it not full training and they both did something that they shouldn't have done? Was it a glitch in the software and the plane? I don't know. I don't know, but we're going to find out sooner rather than later, I'm sure, because this puts a hurting on Boeing. And I'll tell you out. And you've got 5,000 planes on order waiting to be fulfilled over the coming years. And nobody's going to want to get near you if you think that, hey, these things, they got some issues.
Just like the
Stevie Nicks will be the first woman twice inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and her good friend and teen heartthrob Harry Styles from One Direction will be doing the inducting. She's called him, quote, the son I never had. Janet Jackson will be inducted by Janelle Monáe, Queen's Brian May inducting Def Leppard, Trent Reznor presenting for The Cure, Radiohead gets David Byrne, Roxy Music gets members of Duran Duran, and Susanna Hoffs of the Bangles, she'll induct the Zombies. And you'll get to see it all on HBO, April 27th.
All right, Phil, you're a rock and roll person. They say, Phil, you get to induct one band. Who's your go-to band?
They've already been inducted, Rush.
So is that if you could, you would want to induct them? Yeah. I'd get up there and say, Geddy Lee. For years I thought, you're an odd-looking woman, and find out you're just Canadian. So that was weird. I don't know. If it was me, might be Queen. Might be Queen. I would have. That would have been cool. Right, said Fred. They're not in? Okay. Sometimes I'm like, Roxy Music? I mean, I like Roxy Music. Do I think that they're Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I don't know about that. I don't know. But yeah, Queen would have been good. That'd be a lot of fun. I could do that. Brian May bringing in Def Leppard. How about that? Battle of the Big Hair. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Somebody tweeted in about the death penalty, said it's not a deterrent, and we should execute people within 90 days. That's old Western style, right? Like Old West. Like you're guilty, and you're going to be hung tomorrow morning. And it's different now. Lots of different things going on, but it's not a deterrent. I think we realize that. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Pilots have been notified. Airlines have been all notified. Airlines are agreeing with this. The safety of the American people and all people is our paramount concern.
Mostly American people, though. We want everybody to be okay, but if we have to save, that's what we told the pilots, if you have to save anybody, make it the Americans. Chad. So they're grounding them because they are naughty. The Boeing 737, 8 MAX, and 9 MAX. Right? The Pepsi Max is fine. The other ones, nope. I don't know what's going to happen, right, in the future with this plane, because you listen to people, and this in the psyche. And our psyche's been pierced. Remember, 10 years since we've had an accident here. 10 years since we've had an accident here. When's the last time you heard of an airplane going down in modern countries that wasn't either a suicide, terrorism? It doesn't. I'm not saying that there's not something wrong. There may be something wrong with these planes. But Trump felt the need to. I've got no problem with it. I've flown on this plane, and, but I know a lot of people aren't fans of this because we hear it, and the psychology of it is this thing is going down. It's a 50-50 if we're going to get there.
I would not feel safe being on that one, knowing the history of the crashes.
Yeah, so he would not feel safe being on that one. He would not. What about a prop plane?
I'd definitely do a different plane.
All right. Seaplane?
I'd definitely do a different plane.
Concorde?
I'd definitely do a different plane.
Cessna?
I'd definitely do a different plane.
Well, I've got nothing for you at this point in time. You're going to have to take a train. So Boeing is, I guess, I think they are at the point where, all right, let's bring it in. Let's regroup. Let's fix this. But has the damage been done when you still have some 4,900 planes that have yet to be delivered that have been ordered? has that damage been done? Because think about all those jobs. Think about all that revenue. Think about what this could do for a company. It takes a while. I mean, like Airbus is big now, and their strength has come. It took them a long time. They had a lot of mishaps along the way. So we'll see what happens. But they decided, hey, you know what? This is what we're going to do. Other people, right? Other people are out there saying, well, hold on a second. We don't even know anything, yet this is what we're doing.
It's an absurd statement, and the reason it's absurd because nothing has changed since the accident. We don't have a readout of the data recorder or the cockpit voice recorder yet, and the reality is simply this. If, in fact, this accident in Ethiopia were exactly the same as the accident of Lion Air about 6 months ago in Indonesia, we would not have a problem that would necessitate grounding the airplane. We would have a training issue.
And that's what a lot of people are saying is, wait, this may be a training issue, that somewhere along they're not up to snuff on some of the software and some of the stuff happening. And that it's more of, and, 98% of the times plane goes down, it's because of what? It's because of pilot error. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's definitely something that, Boeing is not thrilled with. But I think at this point in time, the best thing you can do is just bring it in. And in trying to sort this out, get the people to understand that everything we've gone through, every single thing that we have looked, every nook and cranny says that our stuff is working fine. Because people are going to say, I don't want to be on your death trap. And that is not a helper. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You should tweet at us. Yes, the scandal is still brewing in the world of college academia. And some people are asking the question.
I think that there are lots of parents feeling lots of things like, why am I even trying? I'll never be able to do that. I knew it was rigged. And kids who believe that they're boxed out because of social standing. And, a lot of people with means and legacy and ambitions who are going to be pissed off as well because they're going to be like, I can't believe that people were finding this end run around. Yeah. There's a lot of wrong here, and my biggest fear is we don't know the half.
No, oh, God, there's so much. For years and years, legacy's always played a part in stuff. Money's, okay, I want everybody to gather around the radio. Bring the kids. Rich, successful, powerful people are able to do things that the average person can't do. What? Yeah, okay. People who are rich and successful, they're powerful, right? They have standing in the community. They're able to do things that the average person can't do. They can pull strings. No way. They can give their children advantages. No way. Yeah. It's crazy, I know. Was this right? No, it wasn't. My suggestion today, I tweeted it out. I think instead of putting these people in jail, have them do some community service in certain areas. And during that community service, identify several kids who are going to be heading to college. And it doesn't have to be kids. It can be older adults who are heading to college or getting back into college or going to college for the first time, but it's later in life. Identify them. And the same amount of money you put to get these kids in school, you fund their college education. And it doesn't matter what kind of college it is. You want to go to a vocational college because you want to be an HVAC or a plumber or something like that, right? Whatever it is, so they can feel it and understand it. There you go. And then we move on and we tell everybody don't do this stuff again. But it's going to go on again because rich people, powerful people, they're always going to feel they have the opportunity to do this. And and here's the thing. They don't look at it as I've done anything wrong. They're looking at it as like, well, you know what? I took advantage of the opportunities I have, the connections I have, the means I have to give my child an upper hand. Anybody listening to the show who has a child is going to do all they can to give their child an upper hand, except for my mom, but she doesn't listen to the show because she'd been like, I would have probably tripped you. But it is what it is. But no, anybody would. Right? My mom busted her ass to give me opportunities to play club soccer, to go and work with coaches. She didn't have the means, but she did the extra things, and that paid off. Did it pay off in college? No, but I got opportunities to go to Europe and play soccer and do things that other people only dream about. I'm giving my son every opportunity I possibly can within the realm of, I want him to understand you don't get everything. You work hard, you bust your ass. I'll give you help along the way. Then it's meritocracy from there. You're going to have to earn whatever it is you get in that situation. But it's not going to be everything. I want them to learn that you got to work hard for things. But am I going to have opportunities to give him an advantage, Jack? Hell yeah. Am I going to do it? Hell yeah. Just like you would your child. But this wasn't about the children trying to give them an advantage. That's the thing, right? This wasn't about that. Like, I know I'm going to get my kid in here and they're going to excel. I want to give them a little advantage. This was about, I'm the perfect parent. I'm the Instagram parent. I am absolutely the Instagram parent. I'm the Facebook parent. I'm the parent of perfection. And I cannot have my kid going to a community college or taking a gap year or any of those things. My child cannot just be a YouTube sensation. My child needs to be educated, because the thing that goes on my wall that's going to be just as important as my grandkids is where my child went to school, because, damn it, my neighbor's kid got into Georgetown. My neighbor's kid got into Harvard. My neighbor's kid got into whatever it is. This was keeping up with the Joneses in the place where the kids are like, I don't really want to, I don't care. And the average person, you listen to Chris Cuomo, of all the people to listen to, right? Because, well, he never had no advantages. He just came from the dirt poor area, pulled himself up by his own loafers, and away he went. But the reality is, the average person, right? College is a crapshoot anyway. It's an absolute crapshoot. Every child should be forced to take a few years off after high school. It should be barred from going to college unless you have an absolute 100% thing that you know you're going to do, and you got a scholarship. Outside of that, you need to take a few gap years and go get your life in order and find out, hey, this is what I'd like to do with my life. See what the world's like a little bit, then come back with a little bit more maturity before you go take out $200,000 in loans that you're going to start out in negative wealth before you ever earn $1. Right? Which I think is a great thing. I tell that now to high school kids when I see them. When they come in, they do tours and stuff. I say, yeah, take a gap year. Go figure out what you want in life. Go do that. But it's just as much about the parent, if not more so now, because the parent has raised perfection. And we can't stop now. Can't stop perfection now. Do you know what you're doing? Do you understand? Can you imagine the pressure on some of these kids? Like, my pressure for Jack is try hard. Work your butt off. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Go to church, go to school, play sport. But work hard. There's your pressure. I've never once pushed him to play soccer. Ever. People say, do you play soccer? I'm like, no, he hates soccer. I mean, he likes to kick the ball around with me, but he doesn't. I'm never going to do that. Right? Never. My dad played pro baseball. Never once said pick up a baseball. It's like, I don't know. That's too much pressure. That's, I would never do that. Could you imagine the pressure here? Oh, God. I couldn't even, jeez. My mom's like, look, I just want you to not be suspended and give the money back to all the kids you conned out. All right, Mom. Jeez. Like, that's, wasn't the best student, if that's what you're asking. C's get degrees. You know what else? So does D's. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. But there's always been some sort of opportunity and hierarchy for people. Think about this. Your kid gets a 1,300 on the SATs. It's a 4.3, does everything that's amazing, and then some for extracurricular, donates their time to this, that, and the other, and yet didn't get into this school. This kid, well, he has a 3.1, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? He got 1,100 on his SATs, but oh, by the way, he lives above the rim, and he's got a great 3. That's also a hierarchy. Oh, yeah, I never thought of that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Pretty litter. Speaking of 3, my cat 3 is awesome. He got a little close to Winston today, and Winston has an ongoing battle going on with the pigeons, and so he got a little close to Winston today. Winston kind of gave him a little slap with his tail, but 3 is just the best cat, and I love the fact that I can't smell him anymore, if you get where I'm going with this. Because I got Pretty Litter, which comes in these little bags, and they last a month, and you're like, how does that work? But it is Kitty Litter 2.0. I call it E-Litter. It's like modern litter. Welcome to the world of modern litter. Next level odor protection, super absorbent crystals. They trap, conceal odor. You will never know that you have a litter box. And then you're going to go, well, I need a better litter box because I can see it. So now if I can figure out a way to hide it, and that's what we did, figured out a way to hide the thing now so you don't even know that there's a litter box. It's absolutely amazing. Here's the other part that's just incredible. It even monitors your cat's health. Pretty Litter changes colors to detect underlying diseases before it gets awful. You get to care for the cat quick, saves you money, stress, potentially a cat's life. Do what I did, make the switch to Pretty Litter today. Visit Pretty, P-R-E-T-T-Y, litter.com. Use promo code CHAD. 20% off your first order right there. PrettyLitter.com, promo code CHAD. PrettyLitter.com, promo code CHAD. It's a Chad Benson Show.
Serving up talk radio medium rare and dripping with irony. It's Chad Benson.
Oh, my Lord. And a flatbed Ford. So, I don't know if we need this or not, but you know what? Why not, right? You're going in for a job interview. You may be just a person who's got all this biases, and you're going to be interviewing people, and you've made up your mind the minute you meet them, even though that's nature. So maybe we need to replace you with something else.
This is Tengai. She's a robot that's been programmed to carry out job interviews, and unlike humans, she doesn't have any unconscious biases. Why do you think Tengai could be better at carrying out interviews than humans?
Well, Tengai doesn't have any unconscious bias, for example. As you know, we make presumptions when we first meet each other. It takes about 7 seconds for someone to make a first impression, and we want to challenge that.
So they're going to challenge that with Tengai. Tengai! Going to challenge that with Tengai. So you have Tengai here, who's just like, it looks like one of those things where you pass by the places where they're learning how to cut hair, and it's got like shoulders and a head, right? You got to put a wig on it because you see it's AI brain, but it's about biases because, after 7 seconds, but this is everything, by the way. You meet somebody. What did they say? How long did they say? Was it like it's a minute before they decide if you're attracted to somebody, you'll sleep with them, something like that? So this is an interview. This isn't about sex. This is an interview, although it might be about sex. And Tengai is going to take away all those biases and just essentially go out there and do its thing. And then it will tell you, I guess, whether or not this person's the right person. You can then go and say, Tengai, who do you think is the right person to hire in this situation?
Is there not a possibility, though, that Tengai could also end up developing unconscious biases?
We work with experts on the area of validity, and we also check the code and analyze the code throughout the process.
Tengai is currently learning English, and the idea is that she'll be able to help employers outside of Sweden by the end of this year or early next year. Isn't that right, Tengai?
Yes. Maybe I'll be interviewing you sometime soon.
Maybe. So that's going to be the new interview process. So it takes away the biases. So, and then I guess you take the cue from there. But then you still have to work with people, right? And what if Tengai says, hire this person, but then you find out that, yeah, the interview questions were fine, but outside of the interview questions, this person's an asshat. And I got to work with him. Then Tengai fails there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Text the program as well. Check out the Instagram. I don't even know if Instagram is working or not. It may be working. I don't know. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I remember the first time we saw them, and we said we got to get them on, and they were just they weren't doing it because it was anything other than something they had a passion for. Next thing you know, boom, they were everywhere and then some. Joining us now, the lovely Diamond and Silk. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
So we are in it's always great to have you guys. We are in another election cycle. It seems to never, ever, 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 ever end. And this battle is going to be interesting because this time it is not the Republicans having to weed each other out to find out who's going to be the one taking on, last time it was, both sides were fighting, but we kind of knew it was Hillary versus whoever it was going to be, and it ended up being Trump, who you guys got on that Trump train. Now the Democrats got to beat each other up to find out who's going to take on Trump. What do you think of it so far?
Well, first of all, the Democrats have a credibility problem. They have a problem with their party being infiltrated by people with these socialistic ideas, people that's radical, that are okay with our country being destructive, being destroyed. Everything that we know to be our truth are now gone, and their lies are implicated, and they have a problem. They have a problem. And listen, and here is what I say. They can get 1 million people to run against President Trump, and none of them is going to be able to win. Because we like capitalism. We love pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We love the opportunity that he has out there, and people can take advantage of those opportunities. That's right. Instead of people pushing these socialistic ideas that would drive us back to the days of slavery. And anybody that comes up against President Trump, let me tell you what's going to happen. President Trump has the ability to pick you apart piece by piece. And what he's going to do, he's going to pick them apart piece by piece. And when they're done, they will never be able to put themselves back together again. And if you don't believe me, go ask Crooked Hillary, because she's still running around asking everybody what happened.
All right, so let's talk about this for a second. So here it is. We're running into this thing, and they said by as early as next year, like early next year, there are only going to be 1 or 2 people left on that stage. Biden is one of them, and a lot of people are thinking. And I look at it and I say, it's a cult of personality. That's the one thing Trump has, that whether you like him or not, you can look at the cult of personality and what he can do. And I say Beto is one of the few people, whether politics or not, that you have to have somebody who can stand on that stage and who can also draw some sort of crowd and energy. And that's the interesting thing to me when I look at this race is who, like you said, who's going to be able to stand on that stage and be able to go somewhat toe to toe for him, because it's going to be at times. Yeah.
It ain't going to be Beto. Let me tell you something. Beto, all of that money that they pumped in his campaign in Texas, and he still didn't win, almost doesn't count. Either you can deliver or you can't. Beto cannot deliver, so I doubt if it be Beto. Listen, I don't know who's going to run against this president, and what do they have to run on? Right. See, when you continue to push the same old ideas that you was pushing before President Trump came along, we, the American people, ain't falling for that no more.
Right. And don't
We're
forget,
not ignorant. Go ahead.
And don't forget, we, the American people, we voted against the swamp. We voted against people that's just been stuck in the political realm and have done absolutely nothing. We voted against that. So all of these people like Biden and everybody else that's been in the political spectrum, been holding seats in office, have done nothing for the American people. We're not voting for that, because if you can't do nothing for your district, why would we want to do something, vote for you when you're not going to do nothing for America?
And you remember Biden said they're going to put you back in chains. Remember when Biden said they're going to put you back in chains? Biden, you right. The Democrats will put you back in chains. We're glad that the chains are loose. We can do what we want to. We do not need government controlling our lives. We can control it and do well for ourselves.
That's right.
Well, I'm always about less government and more competent government. That to me is always something that intrigues me. The fact that everybody wants to look at, government as the end all to be all. Let's replace self and God with government. Talking to Diamond and Silk here. So we move from there to, this is no talk of impeachment, at least from Nancy Pelosi, which I think for Trump isn't the best thing. I think he would relish something like that. I think he also realized what it would do for the resistance movement and how, in many ways, if they were to do something like this, it could give him a shot in the arm. And, as we all know, when people start to push back in certain situations, they dig in deeper. What do you think about the no impeachment kind of thing and the way that they're trying to say, look, we're just going to try to run the clock out on Trump and we're going to stall everything he does rather than go after him with impeachment?
That's all a lie, a host being hoodwinked is what she is doing. She is like the puppet master, and everybody else, the rest of those Democrats, are the puppets on the string. She's going to say what she's not going to do, but she's the one controlling them as to what to do behind the scenes. So don't fall for the okie doke.
Don't fall for the okie doke.
And another thing, Nancy Pelosi, I always say a house that's divided against itself will not stand, and the house is divided.
Right.
You have the radical Democrats against the moderate Democrats. I don't know what they're going to do, but our thing is this. If they try to impeach him, the American people are going to rise up, because the first thing we're saying is, why are you trying to impeach a president that have the unemployment at an all-time low, home ownership at an all-time high? So why are you trying to impeach a president that's doing right by the American people? And let me tell you what's wrong with the swamp dwellers, what's wrong with the elites, what's wrong with a lot of these Democrats. These Democrats, they've been up there for years and haven't done anything. This man has been up there for almost 2 years, and he's done more than they could have ever done, and they don't like that.
Exactly.
So what they'll do is disparage him, demean him, disrespect him, and try to delegitimize him.
Yes.
But it's not going to work when it comes to the American people. We see exactly what's going on here.
What's going on?
Yeah. Well, look, some of the stuff I agree with Trump, lady. Some of it I don't agree with the way that he goes about things, but he's got a hold of his base and his base loves him. I look at this as there's going to be a very interesting way that this country goes in the next few months and years in particular. And there is a fight in the Democratic Party right now between the person that used to be just the average run-of-the-mill Democrat and the people who are on the fringe who seem to be controlling the conversation. And I think we've got a fight in the Republican Party as well. Don't you think at some point in time there's a fight across the board that it's not just the Republicans versus Democrats? There's a political just change going on in this country.
It is a political change. I want people to understand that what we're seeing, we've never seen it before.
That's right.
You have some in the Republican Party. You have the Democrat Party. They want the same old, same old.
Right.
See, what's happening, the gravy trains are being cut off. They all have their hands in the cookie jar, and there's no more cookies left, and they don't know how to act. They're used to the same old foolishness.
That's right.
They're all talk. There's no action. They don't take action. They won't work for the average American people. They work for the elites in Hollywood.
That's
Why
right.
do you think Hollywood is trying to destroy this president? Because the president don't do what the elites want. He do what the American people want.
That's
and you
right.
have the Democrats and some in the Republican Party that is upset. Listen, the money is cut. You
right.
ain't going to be able to, you're not going to just be able to use our taxpayers' dollars for getting your kickbacks and your patty wax. You're not going to be able to do that anymore.
And if you look at it,
that's why he wants the border secure. That's why
right.
he wants to stop drugs from pouring in over that border. Go ahead,
And
Stowe.
if you look at it, that's the reason why they're trying to go after his stuff from the past. They want to take and condemn this particular president. But you know what? I do not care about what President Trump did as a private citizen with his own private money. I do not care what he does with his private money as the president. What I care about is what Congress is doing with American tax dollars. When you're paying these hush-up funds and you're using our tax dollars to do it, who are you paying to hush up? When you're taking American tax dollars and you're funding illegal aliens in sanctuary cities, why are you taking our tax dollars to break our immigration laws? That's what we are concerned about. What is Congress doing with our money?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Well, they've been wasting our money for years, but I think we know that. Here's something, though, ladies. The budget, and he put out his budget the other day, which is the wishes and the wants, and this is the importance of it as we talk to Diamond and Silk here. One of the things that interests me is the fact that, you know what, I see our debt continuing to climb, and that is something that makes me uncomfortable because that's not the way, I hear a lot of people talk about, hey, we're deficit hawks. We're going to go out there and we're going to make sure we fix these situations and are overspending, but spending is going on a lot. And you know what? You blame Bush, you could blame Obama, and I'm looking at Trump and I'm saying I got some issues here because I see some stuff here I don't like.
But when you cut waste, fraud, and abuse, when you stop spending $18 billion on illegal aliens, people that's not supposed to be here, that would take and offset the deficit. There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse that's going on up there in government that can be stopped. When you're doing type of investigation on what, crickets sleeping or all of these different researches, you're taking our money, using it for some BS, that money can be going towards the deficit.
Not only that money, but this Mueller investigation of a witch hunt that's been going on for the past 2 years, $20-some million wasted. That should be going back to cut off the deficit, to cut that deficit down. Let me just say this here. The president is pushing forward his budget that is going to cut a lot of this waste, a lot of these here programs that we don't need because of the opportunities. Now people can go and get a job so they don't have to be dependent on a lot of these programs.
That's right.
You have a Democrat Congress that don't even want to come to the table to cut down the deficit. They are the ones that want to rob Peter to pay Paul. Remember, they are the one pushing these socialistic ideas, Medicare for all. We going to pay for your education. But they're not telling the truth as to how all of this is going to be paid for because they so used to skimming from the bottom and putting it on top and then it all fall on the American people.
That's right.
So with this president, he's trying to balance his budget. But this Democrat Congress needs to come to the table that we can get the budget balanced. Imagine if we stopped the flow of illegal aliens coming over here. That $18 billion will be cut out. All he wanted was $5.7 billion to stop us from spending $18 billion. But the Democrats don't seem to understand that.
And real quick, here's another nugget that people are missing. When these illegal aliens come to this particular country, they are also able to file income taxes and file children from another country on United States income taxes. Then when they get $20,000 and $30,000 checks, they didn't even pay into the system. But American tax dollars is being used to be paid out to these illegal aliens that are making that are committing illegal crimes. So where's the I, the R, and the S on this? They already know about it, but they're doing nothing about it. That is waste, fraud, and abuse. Whenever we as American citizens, we got to be careful who we claim. You claim one person too many, they're coming to audit you, but you got illegal aliens getting $20,000, $30,000 of American tax dollars when they hadn't even paid into our system.
That's right.
Well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, lady, to see what happens moving forward. But as always, I love to just have you guys on, just wind you up and let you guys go. You got the passion and an American success story is what you guys got. People want to get in touch with you. People want to follow you, see you on your speaking tour. How they do that?
Oh, go to diamondandsilk.com, click on Chit Chat Tour. Hopefully we'll be at a place near you. You can get your tickets at diamondandsilk.com. Click on Chit Chat Tour to get your tickets or chitchattour.com.
Always love having you guys on. Wish we had more time. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. You know, you could sit here and you could debate all day long about, people are going to grab the things that they want to grab. Not there to argue. They're going to say their stuff. I don't buy into a lot of it. They're on the Trump train, and that's fantastic. And I want Trump to be successful. Some of the stuff I like, some of it I don't. Well, they don't pay income tax. They claim this. Look, on the national level, they pay into stuff, but it's the local level that in the services where people struggle with illegal immigration, in particular communities and whatnot. But I sit back and they love Trump. They are, and they're passionate about Trump, and good for them. People are passionate about stuff. Don't always buy into everything they say, but you know what? That's an American success story right there, because when those two ladies started what they're doing, I doubt they thought, one day this is what we're going to be doing. Probably not. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
No snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
The billboard near Atlantic City said, "Wish my dad a happy birthday. Love your sons." It included a picture of 62-year-old Chris Ferry's face and his phone number, which Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest tried to call.
The mailbox belonging to 5613.
He called them back and said the hosts of Live were among more than 15,000 calls and texts he got.
I can't use my phone for business.
He told them he's not sure what he might do to get back at his two sons.
Listen, we have a team of producers. We can help you get them back.
Barry says most of the messages were heartfelt and came from around the world.
But there was somebody who called and criticized, because that's what happens, right? Like, I'm always amazed that we just can't help ourselves. It's like, I have to say something rude here. I'm flipping around, in the internet earlier and oddly enough, preparing for stuff for tomorrow and doing a couple different things. And I see this article. It's like people are body shaming this one lady because it's like a picture of them. It's a woman who is curvy next to a woman who is got zero fat on her body. And they're both just laying there in the bikinis, and somebody took a picture, and then one of them posted it, and everybody body shamed the one lady and then insulted the other one for saying, what a jerk to put your fat friend next to you. We just can't, first of all, she wasn't fat or anything, but we just can't stop ourselves. We just can't do it, right? So I guarantee you, 15,000 calls came in, 14,900 were good. There was 100 people that thought, I got to say something horrible. I have to. Something mean, something rude. A few weirdos, I'm sure, too. Because we just can't stop ourselves now. We've got it. We have to insult. At every, I get it. Man, people love to, I have never thought to myself, seeing something, I thought, well, I need to get on there and tell everybody how fat they are, or how ugly they are, how stupid they are, how awful they are. Get it all the time. I do. It amazes me. But I shouldn't be amazed. But I still am, because I want to think the best, and then I'm like, you ruin it for everybody. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, you can tweet at us. My Pillow's amazing. I can't wait. It's been a while since I've been home. I'm going to go home, be home for one night, and then I'm on the road again. But it is awesome that I'm able to sleep with my premium pillow, my pillow. I'm going to be out like a light tonight. I'm going to get 7-8 hours of sleep. It's going to be incredible. Here's what they got going on right now. 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 go-anywhere pillows, half the price, free shipping. Machine washable and dryable, made in the USA, 100% machine washable, by the way, right? So you can do both. Put them in there, fluff them up. You're going to love them. You're going to get these 2 pillows, free shipping, money-back guarantee going on right now. Try it. Put it to the test. They're going to win you over. 800-944-4975 or go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Benson, BENSON, MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 go-anywhere pillows, half the price, money-back guarantee going on right now. 800-944-4975 or MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
At best, it's people who have dreams for their kids. They're afraid they're not going to be able to achieve them. They believe they have the ability to manipulate the system. They lose sense of the most valuable lessons they ever teach their kids about what integrity is, doing the right thing, even when you don't think you're going to get caught for doing the wrong thing. And look, all these things exist. Legacy is a real thing. The private institutions, they want to value that, fine. Sports matters to these schools that make a freaking fortune off of it.
Yeah. Chris Cuomo's there. And listen, the whole college scandal thing, it's silly. Can we just be honest? To yell at the kids, to be pissed at the kids. We live in a generation, think about this for a second. We live in a generation where the pressure we put on kids to do things. You know, we're mad at kids because they're soft, yet parents have been the ones that have gotten to this situation where they've raised these kids to be soft because they're lawnmower parents more than they are of helicopter parents, right? Long gone are the days where you ride your bike to your friend's house. Now it's play dates. This is the world we live in. So naturally, if you have an opportunity to do something and not to be, you know, because it's not just a competition amongst the kids. The competition amongst who's the best parent is huge. Right? It's massive. I mean, how many times a week? And you can go online and once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, you know what you can find? A story about somebody parent shaming. Shaming a parent because they did something that they, being a better parent, would never allow their children to do. And so we're going to shame them into that. It's nuts. It's horrible. Is this a victimless crime? It's a crime of elitism. Should any of these people do jail time? Probably for the singer guy, who was the one who walked. He's the one they caught who basically spilled the beans and wore the wire. Right? Here's what I propose. Who's with me? Whatever you put in to get your kids into these colleges, you take that same amount of money and you find some people that are economically disadvantaged. Doesn't even have to be going to the same school. You could find a kid who is like, I don't have the grades to get into college, but you know what? I want to be an HVAC person. I want somebody to help me pay for that. You spend that kind of money, you give them community services in certain areas, and then we move on with our lives. But the lesson here is, what is it you want for your kid? Right? How ridiculous. And I see it with sports, right? I see it with sports. I see these parents. That's the reason I don't coach soccer, because I see these parents who are so insane about their kids. It's uncomfortable. These parents are to blame. They are. They're absolutely to blame in this situation. Your kid wasn't going to get into the right school, so you couldn't brag to your friends about how amazing your child is and laud it over some of your other friends who didn't get into USC or UCLA or Wake Forest or Yale or Stanford or wherever. So you wanted to laud it over them and look how amazing I am. You know that Instagram and how amazing my life is? Well, this is just another piece of that puzzle and proof that everything in my life is perfection. All the while, you got a lot of these kids don't give quite really a rat's ass. They got other plans. I've got an 8-year-old. I will give him all the advantages I possibly can within reason. But some of it, I want him to struggle. I want him to learn what it's like to go through situations. Right? I'm not going to put him in situations that are awful. But sometimes you got to say, you know what? This is something you got to figure out for yourself. Right? You didn't get into UCLA. You didn't get into Harvard. You didn't get into Yale. You didn't get into Stanford or Duke or wherever you want to go. What's your backup plan? Right? What's your backup plan? Right? What do you want to do? What are some things in life you want to do? And I've said this, and I continue to say this. I think every kid needs to have a couple gap years before they go off to college. But the competitiveness and the ridiculousness of the way that we live our life is how we push these kids is ridiculous. It really, really is. And when you hear them and you understand that, no, college wasn't maybe in their dreams the way it was for mom and dad.
They all knew, everyone involved. Proof plenty, say prosecutors, including taped conversations and electronic communications, like where Felicity Huffman is caught worrying if her daughter's SAT score went up too much. Meanwhile, Laughlin's daughter wasn't even sure she wanted to go to college.
I don't know how much of school I'm going to attend, but I'm going to go in and talk to my deans and everyone and hope that I can try and balance it all. But I do want the experience of like game days, partying. I don't really care about school.
Yeah. It's because mom and dad, she said it too. She said mom and dad didn't go to college, so this is really important to them. And for a lot of people, it is. And my sister's boyfriend is a perfect example of like the parent side of thing. And this is different in a weird way because he wanted to go to college. He wanted to become a police officer. And his dad was dead set against him doing that. You're not going to do that over my dead body. This is who we are. This is what we do. And for a 22-year-old, he makes ridiculous money. It's not his dream, though. Living somebody else's life. It's nuts. It's nuts. It really is. It is. But it's always going to be this way. This was an easy, we caught people doing something. Goes on every single day. Every single day. My sister is really smart, right? But she struggled when it comes to getting into any of the colleges she wanted. There wasn't enough on her application that made her diverse and all of these kind of things, right? So, and she's gone off to junior college and she's done extremely well. But my brother, who, God bless him, I love him, he's a ding-dong. He's an idiot. He's half idiot, and that's the best half. I love him to death. He's a great shucker and jiver. He's all of the things. You know what he can do? He can shoot a hockey puck at 100 miles an hour. And he's got hands that NHL teams desire. He just finished his first year of major junior hockey. And he's like, yeah, I got like 15 scholarship offers. I'm like, did they know you can't read? So are they aware of this? Yeah, they figured it out. They got it all planned out for me. It goes on. It goes on. There's always some sort of hierarchy and some sort of somebody getting an advantage over something. Right? Sometimes it's, hey, I'm going to give you a bunch of money and my great-grandkid's going to go here because my name's on that building. Right? But before we look at these kids, and some of them knew some of this stuff was happening, that mom and dad pulled some strings. Did they know to this extent? But there's a lot of them that didn't. Hence the reason why they're not charged. And I ever once thought to myself, in this whole thing over the last couple of days, did any one of these parents ever sit down and look at their kids and go, it's your life, you're going to lead it. So what is your dream? What do you want to do with your life? Probably not. And it should be asked, right? Right? You know what my son wants to be? Well, he wants to be Odell Beckham Jr., but I told him that job's already filled and you don't want to live in Cleveland. Ooh, another shot at Cleveland. And I said, he wants to be like a YouTube star this week, right? When he gets older, I want him to plot his own path. Not a perfect parent, just a parent, but too many of these people want the perfect parent. I don't quite think they care what happens to their kid outside of that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. He's been sentenced.
The judge handed down a sentence that requires Paul Manafort to spend an additional 3.5 years in prison on top of the nearly 4-year sentence handed down in a different jurisdiction last week. The judge said Manafort's crimes did not merit the maximum, but she said it was problematic Manafort tried to minimize his conduct. The defense had cast Manafort as collateral damage in the special counsel's investigation, but the judge said that argument fell flat, saying, I'm sorry I got caught, the judge said is not an inspiring plea for mercy.
No. And that's the funny thing is, I think if he would have been more contrite, I think if he would have really come across as somebody who's like, look, I've done some things and I've lived my life in ways that, looking at it now, were awful and horrible. I got caught. I probably would have continued to go on with this, having time to think on these things. I realized I made a bunch of mistakes, and these are things that I need to pay for, and I need to really make amends. And if he would have done something real, it's basically said, I got caught. And I have a feeling, and it shows you how ridiculous they're like, we're asking that you sentence him to death. Kind of thing. When the reality is they're like, look, we're not going to do that. He wasn't as contrite as he could have been, but we're not going to sentence him to 25 years over something that we're not going to give somebody else 25 years for. Right? But he's already been charged in New York for mortgage fraud and a couple other things. So they're going to come hard. They're going to do all they can. You know, it's the whole, like, when OJ got sentenced in Vegas, right? Remember that when OJ got sentenced? It was like, all right, well, you got away with the other thing, But we're gonna try to find some justice here is almost what it feels like. They're gonna try to piecemeal together enough sentences that keeps him in jail forever. And I have a feeling at some point in time, Trump will pardon him. Is it going to be soon? No, because you got to let everything play itself out. And that way he has all of the things that he's been charged with. But I wouldn't be surprised if Trump pardons him. This would be my shocked face. So you didn't see it there, but that wasn't really shocking. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Boeing standing by their airplanes. So is the FAA here, but Canada has now said no mas to these airplanes flying over their airspace. So that means we are it when it comes to the 737 MAX 8 and MAX 9, I guess. And this is a big situation for Boeing. That apparently was like 700 on order, 500 on order yet to be delivered, I think, being worked upon. And this is a big issue here for them. I had a pilot text me yesterday and said, look, I've flown these planes. They've got some bugs. Some of the stuff I'm not thrilled with, but is as dangerous as some of these other people are saying. No, but there's definitely some issues that absolutely need to be worked out. But it's a lot of emotion. And I had another person who said I worked on the software, and it is not the best software. There's better things that could have been done, and there's some stuff that really needs to be worked on. So we'll see. We'll see what takes place. But they are saying, hey, you know what? As of now, no systematic performance issues that are so systemic that we have to take this thing out of there. So we'll see what happens. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Question is, would you fly on one, right? Would you fly on one? My consultant, who consults the show and does all kinds of stuff, he tweeted out a picture of himself yesterday on one. So I was like, well, he says he would fly on one. Then, well, you know what? I've flown on one in the last month or so, I think, or the last 2 months. So would I fly on one? I guess I have, but I didn't know these kind of problems, were so pervasive. But yeah, I guess. And I'm flying here in the next couple of weeks. Maybe I'll get on one because I know one of the airlines I'm flying on actually has a few of them in service here in the United States of America. Butcher Box, clean eating, kids. No meatless Mondays for the Chad Benson Show. I'll tell you that right now. Butcher Box, incredible. Delivered right to your door. Meat's guaranteed to be humanely raised. No antibiotics or hormones ever, ever, ever. God, it's so great. I love Butcher Box. I got to be honest with you. It's just... I was talking to the people today about it. I just can't wait. Like, I get excited. It's like Christmas. Like, oh, my God, meat's coming here. Yes, it's humanely raised. No organics. It's all organics. It's not as weird. Like, there's no hormones or any of this other stuff. It is just like, this is the way meat was supposed to be done. And it tastes delicious. Cuts quality you won't find anywhere else. It is absolutely just amazing. Like, incredible. Beef, awesome, right? Chicken, oh, yeah. Organic. Free-range chicken, the largest chicken breast you've ever seen. Sockeyed salmon from Bristol Bay, Alaska. You name it, they've got it. Free shipping. Best taste, less than $6 a meal. Cuts and qualities you won't find anywhere else. Comes directly to your door. Free shipping. What are you waiting for? Here's what Butcher Box is doing for my listeners right now. Free ground beef for the life of your subscription and $20 off your first box when you sign up at butcherbox.com/Chad. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. Butcherbox.com/Chad. Butcherbox.com/Chad. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
So, Jack's mom and I were talking last night. We're trying to figure out, he's going to do some camps, right? So he's going to do all these camps. Because summer, you put them in camps. They want to have fun. We're working, traveling, the whole 9 yards. And so it's not like when we were a kid. I was telling Mr. Phil, it's like when we were kids, like you have camp, like you hope you don't get molested. Camp, don't get tetanus, right? Like camp, be careful that you're swimming in that pool camp. And hey, camp, we're going to just keep them in this room. And then you pick them up at 5:00 camp. That was a lot of it. We had some fun camps, but it was a lot of like, we're all busy, so there's nothing for you guys to do. So we can't let you just sit inside the house all day. And that was always it with mom, right? Like mom and dad, we just can't have you sitting here because they were okay with you at a certain age staying home. But what they weren't okay with you doing was being home alone and your friends coming over, eating all the food in the house, watching TV, right? Finding dad's porn stash, stuff like that. They weren't okay with that. We want you to get out and have some sunshine. So she starts texting me all the camps that Jack can go to. And it was like, they have ninja camp. And it's like a real ninja camp. Not like you're going to learn how to be a ninja. They have spy camp with real spy stuff. Like you're going to be spying on each other. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like this is what you guys have now? Kids nowadays don't quite get how amazing life is, right? Like I look back, remember when we were younger, we're like, God, I don't know how people like lived in Little House on the Prairie days. That's how this generation feels about us. We are the new Little House on the Prairie days. We are just primitive, right? Like we're primitive to them. They like talk to us in different ways. Are you okay, primitive person? Yeah, you played Pong. Nice. I played Fortnite. I was like, okay, I get it. Jeez. Oh, it's insane. Spy camp, ninja camp. And it's full. It's like feuding sides. It's a backstory. I had none of that stuff. Again, I had camp, don't go in the bathroom without a bunch of other people. Camp. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
And now there is none. Trump is saying that's it. These planes are temporarily grounded. So there is nobody flying these airplanes in the modern world. I don't know about anywhere else because I know there's a few other planes and countries that have them, but I don't think so. So Canada and now us were the last two of the dominoes to fall. So that their plane kids, the 737, is it MAX 8 or 8 MAX? Or MAX 9, 9 MAX, they're now grounded. Somebody texted, Chad, you said all of the fleet for Southwest yesterday you were incorrect. No, you're right. They have 737s. It's the 8 MAX that this model is, and they've got another 280 on order, which I don't know if they'll be picking up that order anytime soon. In fact, there's 5,000 orders for this, of which only about 750 have been delivered. And I don't know if people are going to be asking for their deposit back, but I would assume that is a possibility. You're no longer able to move around this country freely on this airplane. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet it. In fact, here it is, 5,111 total orders. Only 350 have been delivered so far. Plane went in service in 2017. So we'll see what happens. If you want to know what the stock is doing right now, it's falling. It's falling. It's down about $7 today. And continuing to struggle. Oh, my Lord. Speaking of the Donald, because, we have to. Guess who's back?
Ooh, loving you forever is what I need.
Andrew Johnson, he was impeached for speaking ill of the House. That was the reason. You don't have to commit a crime to be impeached. Most of the constitutional authorities agree with me on this point. Misdeeds, high crimes and misdemeanors, misdeeds are misdemeanors. That's what the misdemeanors are all about, misdeeds. If a president commits misdeeds, doesn't matter what party.
That right there is Al Green, who is just so excited to get him. This is it. He is excited. He is done. He has got him. Everybody's got him in his sights, even though Nancy Pelosi came out and said, it's not going to happen. We're not going to do it unless there's something that's just so you have no choice but to. And that includes even the Republicans coming on board. Because at any point in time, that the Republicans don't get on board and half the country thinks it's ridiculous, and you move forward with it and you divide the country even more, no matter what you think about Trump, then I think in a lot of ways that is a win for Trump. I do. But Al's coming.
We have lived through bigotry in this country since African Americans arrived on these shores. There are people who suffer. Jewish people have suffered. LGBTQ community has suffered. Bigotry is impeachable.
So, bigotry. Now it's going to go after him for bigotry. Anything. They're going to do anything they can. And the thing to watch here is how do the Democrats maneuver inside of their own party to stop people who want to do this when calmer, cooler heads are saying, stop this. Look at the long game, not the short game, Al. But some are, this is it. This is all they want to do. This is the number one thing. They're coming. And for Trump, I think it would be a good thing. I think it would be an absolute. I think the battle is only going to energize his base even more. And I think it's also going to divide a lot of the independents out there and maybe peel them back towards Trump because they're going to see this as overreach and ridiculous. We'll see. It's going to be interesting, though. Absolutely interesting. Johnny Carson. I love Johnny Carson. I absolutely loved the Johnny. Nobody did it better. All the ones you see nowadays, no. There was something about Johnny, his style, just the way he did things. I look and I see, what I see now is just it's people who are out there being political advocates. It's a lot of things that they're more interested in their views, political views in a lot of way. Jimmy Fallon, not so much. I think Jimmy Fallon thought, this isn't who I am. I'm not this. I want to entertain people. And I think that brand of The Tonight Show is about that in a lot of ways, is the entertainment of people and everybody, not just people who live in Manhattan, New York, and Manhattan Beach, California, but everybody. And this is great. This is coming out. This is a Barbara Wawa interview talking about just being a comic and the world of and how he viewed himself.
I think one of the dangers, if you are a comedian, which basically I am, if you start to take yourself too seriously and start to comment on social issues, your sense of humor suffers somewhere. I've seen other people, whose names I won't mention, who do humor, and then somewhere along the line they start to want to make their views known.
Yeah, they want to make their views known, right? And when you do something like that, you're there to entertain people, but a portion of your audience may not like your views. And so you're going to automatically start to build some resentment and some anger and drive a wedge between some of your audience that just wants to be entertained. That's why they came. You're famous because you're an entertainer, not because you're an activist. Some people are famous because they're activists. That's what they do. But they came up that way, right? And Johnny kind of knew that. And Johnny also knew he was, hey, man, I'm playing to the country.
We've had some criticism on the show. Some critics over the years says, well, the show has no great sociological value. It's not controversial. It's not deep. The Tonight Show basically is to amuse people, to make them laugh.
Tell me the last time that Jack Benny, Red Skelton, Benny comedian, used his show to do serious issues. That's not what I'm there for. Can't they see that? Why do they think that just because you have a Tonight Show that you must deal in serious issues? That's a danger.
Yeah, because he looked at the brand. What is the brand? The brand is me, and it's the Tonight Show. That's what it is. And I'm playing for somebody in Los Angeles, in San Diego, in Seattle, in Boise, Idaho, in Cedar Rapids. I'm playing for somebody in Florida. I'm not just playing to a select few. And we're going to have every person on here, right? We're going to have powerful. We're going to have famous. We're going to have people who are just everyday people. We're going to do it all.
It's a real danger. Once you start that, you start to get that self-important feeling that what you say has great import. And, strangely enough, you could use that show as a forum. You could sway people. And I don't think you should as an entertainer.
No. And didn't take himself too seriously. I love that. Jay Leno is making the rounds right now talking about that because Jay never really did that. And when Jay did poke fun, he poked fun at everybody. And it was a poke of fun here and there. And that's one of the things. Jimmy Fallon, he stayed out of it for a while. He'll poke some fun, but he was like, I'm here to entertain. So I'm going to kind of do my thing more so than the way that other people do their things. Everybody else has made it known who they are and what their politics is about.
Everything now is, if people don't like your politics, everyone has to know your politics. When I kind of used Johnny's model, people couldn't figure out, well, you and your Republican friends, well, Mr. Leno, you and your Democratic buddies, and I would get hate mail from both sides equally. And I went, well, that's fabulous. Yeah. That's exactly what I want. Yes. But when people see you as one-sided, it just makes it tough.
Yeah. I get hate mail from both sides. I will guarantee you today, I'm going to get hate mail from both sides. Oh, you had on Diamond and Silk. You're an evil person. You're a horrible right-wing nut job. You criticized Trump. You're an evil person. You're a liberal lunatic. And I'm thinking, I'm doing my job, right? My job is to deliver the best I can, the honesty of the data that I get. And you can only trust the data so much because, as we all know, data can be fudged. But I'm going to deliver you stuff, and we're going to have opinion, and we're going to go on the data that we have. And I'm going to give you my actual honest thoughts, not play to one side. Right? It's amazing. But people, man, it's just because we're so tribal and we're so angry.
The theory when we did the show was you just watch the news, we'll make fun of the news and get your mind off the news. Mm-hmm. Well, now people just want to be on the news all the time. Right. So you just have one subject. So it's the same topic every night.
I wonder what that topic is, Jay. Anybody?
I did it when Clinton was horny and Bush was dumb, and it was just a little easier. Now it's all very serious. Everything is just so I just like see a bit of civility come back to it,
Yeah, that's all I want. Look, I just, I want to be entertained. I don't care what your politics are, right? I don't. I've never cared what somebody's politics is. I don't judge my friends that way. I don't care what your politics. Like, if I come to see a comedy show and you're funny, and there's a little bit of politics in this one thing, I got no problem with that. If you're there and all you do is that, and it's the same thing over and over, and it's cheap and it's easy and it's just, you're playing to a certain thing. And for some people it works, right? Stephen Colbert, this is who he is. He plays to the audience he has. It goes from there. But it goes back to that thing we talked about with Bill Maher last week, where he talked about how the rest of the country is jealous of the left coast and the West Coast. They're jealous of, the West Coast has everything because they've got all of this great stuff here. And we've got, museums and it's just the blue state is amazing. And the same thing with New York, and everybody else is just jealous of us. That's a bunch of crap. It is. Some people play and those people are only playing to their audience, and everything's an inside joke, and it leaves the rest of the country out. But if you know your audience and that's what you want to play to, great. Great. For me, you know what? I just want to have fun. In the end, if I entertain you for a little bit during the day, that's a good thing. It's a win. It's a win for me. If I don't entertain you, I'm sorry. I'll try harder tomorrow. 323-538-2423, just to make sure that you're entertained. Just you, right? I bust my ass every day, but sometimes I got to go a little extra just to get you to laugh a little bit. 323-538-2423. Somebody tweeted in, Chad, for all the camps you talked about, Jack could go to Ninja Camp and Space Camp and all of these camps. He's going to do a class this summer of coding and then video gaming and then YouTubing and pictures and editing and all of this stuff. It's like it's one big kind of like, IT kind of camp thing and the whole 9 yards. And somebody said, what about Space Camp? And oh my God, Space Camp. We were poor, so we didn't go to Space Camp, but you know what we did have? In my park by my house, Whaley Park, we had this metal rocket ship that was about 3 stories tall. That was our Space Camp. That was poor kids' Space Camp. That's what that was. Poor kids space camp. Because you had your imagination and you could have gone anywhere. And you went to Long Beach. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, tweet at me. Oh, Car Shield. Car Shield. Here's a camp you don't want to go to. Broke camp. Because you didn't get Car Shield and you didn't have any protection. And the next thing you know, you're spending thousands of dollars you didn't have to pay because you didn't get an extended vehicle protection from Car Shield. That's an awful camp. Don't go there. Car Shield makes the entire process of fixing your car for covered repairs so easy. First, foremost, you choose your mechanic. It's your choice. Secondly, 24/7 roadside assistance and a rental car for free while your car is being fixed. It's amazing. It really is what they do. They got a ton of different programs. You go to carshield.com, use my code Benson, saves you 10%. But when you go there, check out all the programs. Find out the best fit that is for you and the vehicle that you have. It is the ultimate extended vehicle protection. Call 800-CAR-6100. Mention code Benson or go to carshield.com. That's carshield.com. Use code Benson, saves you 10% right there. A deductible may apply. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, ChadBenson. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
Any plane currently in the air will go to its destination and thereafter be grounded until further notice.
Yeah, grounded. You're in trouble. Do you hear me? Max. You and your brother. Yeah, 8-year-old Max, 9-year-old Max. Both of you in super double, triple trouble. You're grounded. You go to your hangar and you don't come out until you're not even going to get dessert, mister. Do you hear me? Do you understand me? So now that's it. So we were the last. Canada today said, And Boeing must be going, what the hell's going on here? How bad are these things? What happens if people just totally say, that's it, we don't want these planes anymore, we're done with these, period, case closed? And now you've built up in the psyche of people that even if you fix out the bugs and the FAA comes out and says, look, we've looked at these things, we've done it, there was a couple small fix, and the pilots all seem to be thinking this thing is fine, there's a lot of people out there that have it in their mind. And they're going to see 737, and they're not going to say, okay, well, there's different kinds of 737. That's most of the fleet of Southwest is 737. These are the MAX planes, the 8 MAX, the 9 MAX. People are still going to think in their mind, oh, I don't know. But they're grounded. They're grounded. Absolutely grounded. Do you hear me? All right, so equality. It's the day of equality, right? Nancy Pelosi and them are all talking about equality. How about during job interviews, right? Because as human beings, what do? We judge. Because that's as a person who's interviewing somebody for a job, that's your thing, is to judge who the best person is for a lot of reasons. And we all have biases because we're human beings.
This is Tengai. She's a robot that's been programmed to carry out job interviews, and unlike humans, she doesn't have any unconscious biases. Why do you think Tengai could be better at carrying out interviews than humans?
Well, Tengai doesn't have any unconscious bias, for example. As you know, we make presumptions when we first meet each other. It takes about 7 seconds for someone to make a first impression, and we want to challenge that.
So, yesterday we had Q, the non-binary, not male or female voice. Now we're going to have the non-judgy robot be the judge.
Is there not a possibility, though, that Tengai could also end up developing unconscious biases?
We work with experts on the area of validity, and we also check the code and analyze the code throughout the process.
Tengai is currently learning English, and the idea is that she'll be able to help employers outside of Sweden by the end of this year or early next year. Isn't that right, Tengai?
Yes. Maybe I'll be interviewing you sometime soon.
Oh, that sounded like a woman. I think there's gender bias. Gender bias. Just that's when you got too much time in your hands in this world when you're trying to come up with AI that's not going to have biases towards people you may be hiring in the future. What if that person has a bias against technology and robots? Never thought of that. you're going to have somebody come in and interview for you so they don't have biases. We've lost the plot. Just letting you guys know. Your useless information of the day. Get ready for this. The first air stewardesses, as they were called back in the day, or flight attendants, had to be less than 115 pounds, unmarried, and trained nurses. Think about that today, kids, as you fly around the globe. Have a good rest of your day. We're over the hump. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.